Good afternoon, and thank you very much for tuning in to the Coronavirus Crisis radio show and podcast for the very first of our expert interviews. Today, I'm really excited to have Stuart Doughty with me. He is a life transformation and business coach based in the UK. And today, we're going to be talking about why mindset matters for dealing with the coronavirus crisis. No matter where you are, you always have your head on. We're going to be splitting this interview into 4 topics. First of all, managing our anxieties, how we can deal with fear. Secondly, creating and maintaining a positive mindset. Thirdly, stepping into action and achieving our goals. And fourth and finally, should you be starting a business during this crisis? So I've worked with Stuart for a number of years and he's a really awesome guy. He is part of Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results program. And I'm going to let Stuart take it away from here. So Stuart, is there anything else you would like to add?
Okay, hey, thanks Alex. Yeah, it's great to be here. Love what you're doing. Happy to be a part of this today. I'd much rather you introduce me. There are moments where someone says, tell me about yourself, and you freeze up and you go, what is there to say about me? And it's funny how you do that, even when you know exactly what you're meant to say. But who I am, without making it sound like I'm reading from a script, right? I'm a personal development mentor, effectively, and also a business trainer, a business coach, helping people, typically helping small business owners. That can be people who are actually startups trying to start their own business, or people who've got a small business and they're trying to grow it. Because what I do with mindset training, what I do as a personal development teacher and mentor is really just help people believe in themselves, help people believe in their own potential, their own capability. Because anybody that has an idea for a business, anybody that is, really wants to be successful in business can be. It's just that there's always stuff in our minds that makes us think we can't. And what I've learned is that actually we can, if we get the stuff in our minds out of the way, if we solve those mental problems. So I've been a personal development teacher with Bob Proctor's organization for about 6 or 7 years now. But I've been on the personal development journey for over 30. So doing really something that I really love, but it took me a long time to get there.
This is really interesting what you were just saying about the stuff in our minds, and if we look out at the world, it can really affect us, whether it is people in supermarkets wearing masks, rubber gloves, keeping their physical distance 2 meters apart. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about that. How are you helping people deal with the stuff in their minds?
Yeah, and it's interesting. The reason I think I was using the word stuff is because Wallace Wattles wrote a really classic book called The Science of Getting Rich, which was the inspiration for Rhonda Byrne to create that incredible movie, The Secret, and the book The Secret, about the law of attraction. And in it, Wattles says that there is a thinking stuff that basically creates everything. And what he's trying to describe is the energy, the thought energy in our mind. The thought energy in our mind is neutral. And I'll quote Shakespeare there, there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So everything coming in our mind is neutral until we give it meaning. And right now with the coronavirus, the meaning we're giving it is typically fear, uncertainty, anxiety. And the reason we see it that way and think about it that way is either because we are hearing from the outside, from the media, traditional media and social media, bad things. They're focusing on what's bad, and it is bad. See, I'm giving it meaning already. But also, because it's unknown, we're living into an unknown future. One of the most fearful things we have is the fear of the unknown. And our minds aren't conditioned enough to manage what's happening. So the automatic response is one of fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. And we don't know, as human beings, we're never taught how to manage that, how to change that. So we get sucked into it, we get really caught up in it. And that's what's happening right now. We're just caught up in the global conversation that's a fear-based conversation because of the fear of the unknown, of what's going to happen to us.
Mm-hmm. And you're exactly right. This fear of the unknown is perhaps the biggest fear of all. And in my own life, things I had planned next month, in 6 months, it's not possible now. I mean, how can we manage our lives day to day when we don't even know what may happen the very next day. So tell us more about this fear of the unknown. How can we deal with this fear of the unknown?
So, I'm doing a lot of videos at the moment, doing a lot of social media work, helping groups, helping my clients who typically need a lot more help at the moment with all of that. There are three things that I typically tell people. First of all, just acknowledge what's going on. Don't try to be in denial. Don't try to reject it out of hand, but don't let it overwhelm you. So you acknowledge it. Yeah, there's something bad going on. This could be any situation in your life. It doesn't have to be the coronavirus. It could be anything. Your business may suffer, but your health may not. Acknowledge the problem, the situation that's frightening, that's unsettling. Acknowledge it. But don't go too deeply into it. What we want to do is change our perception of what's going on. So give it a better meaning. And I'm always saying, look for the good in something. In everything, there is always some good. We want to find the good in any problem, because then our mind is focused on a more positive energy. And then the third step is to actually focus your mind into the future. Give it something to look for. If you don't set your mind to work, it will just think about the problem. And it will go so deep into it, it will make you feel bad. It will make you feel depressed. So we want to give our mind something to do. So what I'm telling people to do is think about the future. How are you going to survive this? And then how are you going to thrive? Ask yourself, what am I going to do when I come out of the problem? What would my solution be? And you're asking yourself to try and find a solution, because the mind loves to have an objective. If you give it an objective to work towards, it will happily work towards it.
Yeah, and that's something that I've personally experienced, starting this podcast, starting this radio show, doing other kinds of business projects that before this crisis I wouldn't have thought of doing myself. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's show and our first interview with Stuart. We're going to be following up with 3 more interviews from Stuart, as well as other experts like Stefka Christodoulova, a resilience expert, and we really hope that you got a lot out of today's show. No matter where you are, indoors, or you probably aren't outdoors, at least not if you're in the UK, where it's raining quite a lot, but keep spreading that sunshine in your heart and make sure that today is positively positive.